Hi, Shammara. I'm so sorry for the delay. I had a new student right before you today, and I just got caught up, and I just was like, oh, rats, I'm late. So I apologize. If I'd gotten on and you were like, I left, I would have been like, I'm sorry. I would have rescheduled or not charged you or something, but I just got all excited. I do that with you sometimes too, where I get all excited and then you're like, well, it's kind of late. I gotta go tuck my kid in. So
I
I
understand.
apologize. I guess that's how you know you really love what you do.
Yes, and you're
Did
good
you
at it.
have a good weekend?
I did. I did. Very chill. Can't
Nice.
complain.
Oh, I love that.
We're celebrating. My boy got principal's honor roll, so we were
Oh, congratulations.
celebrating and making
Oh,
trying to make a big deal out of his hard work.
yes. Yeah. I mean, that is some hard work. I love that. Good for him. Oh, that's great. I'm sure you're really proud too.
We are, uh, we just want to keep it up. We all we care about
Yes.
is that he learns. He doesn't have to get straight A's.
Yeah.
Just
That was
like,
kind of how my mom was. She was more focused on the learning. She did want us to have A's because she was like, you'll get better scholarships. But she definitely instilled in me a curiosity and like an eagerness to learn. So I'm very thankful for that. I was the kid who asked why all the time, and she was like, I don't know. Let's go to the library and find out. Because, back in the day, you had to go
yeah,
look in the encyclopedia. So
we remember. And now we look back at those encyclopedias and we're like, wow, that was kind of wrong. Or
yeah.
um, but yes, I feel the same way as your mom. Like it's mostly about the
Yeah.
learning. I know he's capable of getting good grades, but it's mostly about the getting in there and understand.
Yes. Hmm. Yeah, it's interesting too because I am not the best test taker, but I am a hard worker and I do learn things. But with tests, we didn't know I was ADHD. I know now as an adult, but like on my ACT and SAT, I did the exact opposite on each. I did really well in math on one, really well in English on the other, because it's like the first half I'm solid, and then it starts just like, and so you just see like my mental capacity to focus was like, and it's dwindling. So.
So
I
silly.
did still
Tests are
manage to
silly.
get some good scholarships because I still had like good grades and things because I did work hard. It's just my test taking skills were not as good as some other people, and that's okay. Yeah.
Understanding is mostly is the most important part. I think
Yeah.
I'm the opposite. I'm a really good test taker and I
Oh,
can learn something really quickly and
okay.
then just dump it.
Oh man. Oh, that was a really impressive skill, I feel like.
It's not I don't think it's very good. It
Oh.
ends up like making procrastination and things like that
Ah.
prevalent in your life because you know you can.
Oh, okay, interesting. Hmm.
That's
Okay.
so you could just cram. I could
Yeah.
I did like the Amazon like certification and I just did like a quick boot camp and then went and took the test and got the certification. That's not good. You need to know,
How to do it at the
how to do
job.
it.
Oh
But
man.
yeah, like that's the kind of stuff that I can do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that
Oh, that's really interesting. Yeah. So it must be really easy for you to get like certifications or like, in your coursework, you'll do really, really well then. So I feel like for some things that would be really useful. But like you said, sometimes it might kind of, bite you later.
yeah, I
You'll be
always
like, gonna have
prefer
to study
to
again.
have a good understanding of the information rather than but when I do
Yeah.
know something, I really know it.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that you're like, I'll never forget it now.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's cool. That's great. Well, hey, I love that. You know yourself and you know what you need and what you're good at. And I think knowing yourself is the first step to making the best choices for yourself. That's pretty cool. I love that. I'm always impressed with how insightful you are, and I feel like you have a really good, solid grasp on who you are, and you are a very like grounded, self-aware person, which I think is really, really good for acting. So, specifically, I think that's really awesome. And I feel like regularly I'm impressed by your self-awareness. It's a
Maybe it's
pretty
just
cool thing
old.
you've got going.
Maybe it's an old lady wisdom thing.
I mean, I guess you have an old soul. I met a 93-year-old lady today, and she was so cute. She was all dressed up in her pearls. It was adorable. She needed three people to help her get out of her chair, but she looked lovely.
Sounds like my grandma. She always wore like fabulous hats and just, yeah, really rocked
Oh,
it all the time.
yes. Oh, that's adorable. I love it. The hats.
I plan to do the same when I'm with my.
Yeah. I mean, why not?
I feel like, you've earned it at that point.
Exactly. At that point, it's like, psh,
Where we
I did what everyone expected all my life. Now I'm gonna have fun and wear the hat. I love it. And just like dress like a diva every day.
that was how she was.
Excellent. I love it. So as we are focusing in on our goals for the day, I have my thoughts and like notes on our progression, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. Maybe any reflections on what we have been working on, anything you maybe thought about over the week, anything that you thought you would really like to work on or improve on. I know last time we were talking about strong female characters, like the strong female leads, people like, um, thinking of particular characters, like in, How to Get Away with Murder or something, like
Child dating,
particular, yeah, exactly,
Olivia
particular
Pope, all them.
characters.
Yeah.
So we had been working on more like sassy and sexy characters. Did you want to explore those more? Do you want to focus in on that strong female lead character type?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, we had a little bit of a buffering moment,
Strong.
but yeah,
My
sorry,
brain.
you cut out for just a second, but you're clear now, so we're good.
I'm
Yeah,
just saying
great.
that I did try to observe some strong characters.
Yeah.
Um, and I felt like the ones that I'm more drawn to have a lot in common.
Okay.
So like I noticed that they usually have a little bit deeper voice, right? They're not all
Nice.
like super high register.
Right. Like girly girls, right?
Yeah. Not that it's like exclusively that, but I just think
Right.
most female characters that I would say, wow, there's
Yeah.
I want to be like that. Is it tend to have been, like I said, a deeper voice. They
Hmm.
usually had poise, grace.
Nice.
Um, they paused and thought about what it was that they were
Mm.
saying. They did not rush things. Um, they were confident.
Love
And
that.
when they weren't confident, like if they weren't sure, they still had an element of confidence, like they would eventually get there, or they knew the right people to get them
Mm.
to where they needed
Okay.
to go. So yeah, so that's what I was doing this week. I was trying to observe some of the
Yeah.
strong women in my life and
Nice.
on television. Um, there's I don't know if you've ever seen Landman.
Oh, I haven't. I'm gonna have to
So
look it up.
good, by the way. It's such a good show, by the way.
Okay.
I'm surprised. It's Billy Bob Thornton is the main character. It has like Demi Moore
Okay.
and like she plays the wife of like an oil man, and then I don't know.
Okay, that's awesome.
The reason why I brought it up though is because Billy Bob is his ex-wife is a very sassy, sexy character. But
Oh,
she's extreme. Like her whole job is to antagonize him in a sexy way.
yeah.
Like you regret that you didn't keep me, kind of, that you didn't do right
Mm,
by me. Like
yeah.
fun, interesting banter. Again,
Yeah. Okay.
she's graceful, she has poise, but she's not super sexy, all inappropriate, drinks too much, like, but of just an interesting, like, she's like not a positive character.
Yeah.
But she's still a really strong, sassy, sexy,
Yeah.
fun, very fun character. So check her
Yes.
out if you want to.
Absolutely. Yeah, as you're describing her, I was like, man, I know a few people that would love to play a character like that. It would just
Yeah.
love, love, love it. It sounds like though she might be a character that would be a little bit more of a challenge for you, due to having some of those characteristics that you tend to be a little less comfortable showing. Um, but then it sounds like she also has some characteristics that are strengths of yours as well. So I think it would be a good challenge for you because you'd get to like play on some of your strengths and then you would also have to strengthen some of your weaknesses. So I think that actually would be a really good character to work on. That's really cool. I'm gonna check it out because it does sound like a really fun show and a fun character. Um, but yeah, I definitely it's funny because I think back to one particular film class I was in, and somebody said to me, we actually had people who were like casting directors that came that day. And somebody said, "Why did you pick this character to play, in the scene when they were watching instead of this other one? Like, I feel like you would have been so good at it." And I was like, yeah, but that one would have been easy. And like, I'm here in class because I want to grow. So I like picked the character that would be harder for me. And they were like, yeah, but you had like people watching, you could have cast you. And I was like, eh. But I was like, the whole point of being here, like, I'm paying to be here because I want to grow. And how can I do that if I don't push myself out of that comfort zone? Um, yeah, so I was like, "Psh, I'm not paying for an audition. I'm paying to get better, you know?" I was like, "Psh, auditions are free, man." Anyway, but yeah, so I challenge you to find characters like that that are intriguing and that captivate you, but that you also go, "Ooh, it might be a little bit of a challenge for me." But yes, we talked too about how like you really gravitate towards those really like strong female lead characters, and I think you would play them really well. Um, so I was thinking of exploring some of those more today. So I wondered if we could maybe make a list of a few characters that you're like, I feel like I could play this character and really do it justice. Like the main lady in Scandal or something, if you're like, oh, I'd thrive in that role, Like
Olivia.
probably not like Elle Woods, because it sounds like you're like, have a high pitched voice and be in a sorority and wear heels all the time, and carry my tiny dog like I'm Paris Hilton.
I know
But
Rich
there
is
are other
saying
characters.
I was in the play, what was it called? Why can't I think of it? The Dead. Why can't I think of it? It's a musical. Anyway, my character was a complete ditz.
Oh, that's amazing. I wish I had
I
seen
was a
it.
complete like sex pot ditz. Yeah.
Wow. I would pay to see it.
I'm being serious. Like, I will send you a picture so that you can see that I'm not lying. But it's
Oh.
Evil Dead. It's the Evil Dead. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
that's so fun.
yeah. It was a really fun. It was very fun to do. But my
Were you
whole
like, I'm not going to invite my mom to this?
yeah, it was right before I had my son.
Oh. So like a last hurrah before you were like, okay, now I have to be mom mode.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we had practices all the time, and so
Yeah.
yeah, so it's a commitment. But
Yeah, for
it was
sure.
really fun. But I'm just telling you that because I was
You
surprised
can
when
do
they
it.
they
They
cast.
saw it in you. They cast you in that role and you rocked it out, it sounds like.
It was
So it's in
very.
you. It's
My
there.
husband was dying of laughter because he knows it was not my forte. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, Shelly, I think, was my character's name.
Oh, yeah.
You did.
I couldn't remember the character's name, but that sounds right. Um, so who can you think of that you're like, I feel like I would thrive in this character?
I know, like, I would want to play like the mom in Game of Thrones, or like Khaleesi, or like
Heck yeah.
something, someone, who has to take charge.
Yeah.
Or maybe like um Demi Moore and like G.I. Jane, um,
Okay.
or like just trying to think of powerful female characters. I
Yeah.
Wonder
Yeah.
Woman, Gal, like
Sure. Yeah. I think
those are
Wonder
all.
Woman's a great one too. Yeah, I feel like so you mentioned a couple from Game of Thrones. I feel like Game of Thrones has quite a few really strong female characters. So I love that you brought that up. Yeah, so I think Jordan was the character's name from G.I. Jane. Is that the character? I think
I don't know what her name was. I just remember her being kind of
yeah.
like I'm gonna persevere. I'm gonna get through this.
Yeah.
Don't underestimate me, kind of
Hmm.
a person.
Yeah. I feel like you could pick like some superhero type characters too, like um Phoenix and X-Men, or like,
Storm.
Captain Marvel could be a fun one, or like, Star Wars has some strong female characters, or like some of the fantasy worlds like Katniss and Hunger Games, or mm, like Sarah Connor in the Terminator movies. I feel like or like The Bride and Kill Bill.
Oh,
Um because she's got like martial arts and revenge and a katana.
I feel
Yeah,
like
like
all the women in Kill Bill would be.
yeah. Oh yeah, like all of them. Exactly.
Yeah,
Brienne of Tarth is a really cool, strong character in Game of Thrones. Furiosa and Mad Max could be a cool one, or like Éowyn and Lord of the Rings,
yeah.
who slays the Nazgul. So some powerhouse female characters here. I love it. Yeah. So we're just kind of like thinking through some of those characters that it's like, okay, this would be, a pretty cool type of character there. Like, hmm. Ooh, like the Queen and Black Panther would be cool. Or
Yeah. I
yeah,
feel
I'm
like
just like,
kind of like maybe the sister, maybe the
oh,
sister.
okay. Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. Or like
She's protecting.
yeah, just like so many really fantastic, strong female characters out there. And what are a few like things that they all have in common?
Yeah, just like I said, I think they have confidence. They usually can command the room. They don't seem like they're afraid to take up space. Um, I don't know. They just have, like I said,
I like that. They're not
they
afraid
don't.
to take up space. I
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, they don't rush.
Ah, yes. There is power in stillness. I love that. That's great. So what if we take Wonder Woman? I actually have her monologue from the final battle in the film, the Wonder Woman film. Diana, her like last big monologue in the film.
Okay.
I think that could be a cool one to look at, especially since you
Sorry,
mentioned Wonder Woman.
you've been posting things and
Oh, it's okay. Yeah, so I just put that into the chat. So go ahead and take a look there. This is right at the end. And what I love about this moment is it's a moment that shows her transformation, not just as a warrior, but also like as a symbol of hope and choice. You know, she's making a choice here, which I really like. It's a very defining moment. It's not just like good versus evil. It's more like humanity and, you know, choice and belief. Like, what do we believe in? Um, so yeah, I think this is a really cool moment, and like a pivotal moment for her as a character. So yeah, so I feel like this is a really cool one, and kind of embodies a lot of the characteristics you were mentioning.
And who was she saying this to in the movie?
So in this moment, she is talking to the God of War person in this moment, because they believe that like humans are corrupt
Yeah,
beyond redemption, right? And he's like trying to convince her that like mankind doesn't deserve to be saved, right? And basically like he thinks that she should join him to like destroy the
eradicate them.
earth and then like bring about a new earth. And she chooses, you know, even though she's seen like pretty bad parts of humanity, she chooses compassion, right? Um, so I mean, I feel like that's pretty deep, you know. She's rejecting this god of war. She is choosing and declaring this like mission that she has picked for herself as Wonder Woman. And she's choosing love and believing in the good in people over, you know, like vengeance and like destruction. Um, so it's like she was very idealistic earlier on, and now she's much more like grounded and rooted in reality, but she still has hope. Like, even with her being so devastated with Steve dying and stuff, you know? So I feel like you see so much growth in her and transformation as a person. So I think it's a really cool moment for her. Yeah. So why don't you just take a read through, kind of decide what you want to try to do with it, and then we're going to do a first take.
Before we do this, I do have a technique question.
Okay.
What do you do when you are supposed to, I mean, like you're on mic, right? But you're supposed to be sounding like you're yelling in a way, like not
Right.
yelling, but like, what do you do with
Yeah.
to
That's a
make,
really good question.
yeah,
Yeah. So you have a couple choices. One thing you can do is you can get your mic levels for actually being loud. So, one thing you can do is set the input gain level appropriately and just like act it at your volume. Now, if you are doing all the audio editing and like miking yourself and editing everything, that can be a lot more work for you because every time you get to a different section of your script that changes in volume, you have to reset those things. And then in your editing process, you have to go through and like balance everything out and make everything the same volume. So it's a lot more editing. So when I'm doing something like a character and I'm going into the studio and all I have to do is read the script and act as that character, then I'm more likely to just go ahead and like be loud and soft and do all the things. And I let the audio engineer worry about that and the producer later. When I'm doing, let's say, an audiobook and I'm doing all of the editing, maybe, then I do this. I try to change the quality of my voice without changing the volume, which is kind of tricky and it takes a lot of practice. So, like when I'm soft, maybe I'm whispering, but I try to do more of like a stage whisper. So I get the effect of being a whisper without actually dropping in volume. And then let's say I'm really angry and furious in a moment. Instead of actually going louder, I make my voice sound really furious, but I don't actually change any of the volume. right? So I do things that are like, it changes the feel of it for sure without actually being louder or softer. Yeah.
Yep.
So that does take some practice. Um, the best case scenario, to me, the most fun kinds of jobs are the ones where you get to go into a studio and you have a director and you have your audio engineer, and all you have to do is act, right?
Right.
But, narration is like a bread and butter kind of job for voice acting. So if you can get some basic skills in recording and editing, that definitely will serve you well and get you more job opportunities. And then for those like dry spells where you'll have like busier seasons and slower seasons, you can like pick up other jobs or, you know, even do like editing for other people and get paid for that. So, um, if you have like a dry spell, you can take some more of those kind of jobs. And at this point, I've been doing it for over a decade. And so I'm pretty quick at it now. But early on, it definitely was like, oh, this takes so much time and was tedious. But yes, you can actually get it where you like set everything up and you're like, okay, this is how far away I want to be. And okay, now I've got my knobs and like settings where I want them and my gain input levels there. And I'm like, all right, so I don't really want to change my volume very much now that I'm set up, right? Now, an old school way of doing it was people would just like, they'd go like way back. So you'll
Right.
see singers sometimes live, they'll pull back from the mic, right?
Right.
We don't want to do that. That is not the ideal way because if you're recording and you pull back, the issue is we get like, mm, it would be like a lot softer then. And then when I do like the balancing, I mean, like the tone quality is going to be different. If I'm like softer and have to amplify it more, then I'm gonna get kind of this like airy, kind of fuzzy, hissy, like I don't know, it's like a fuzzy, like the old television sets with the like crackle on the screen. You get like a little bit of that kind of like hum in the recording when you boost it too much. And then if you're too loud and you make it softer, then it's probably distorted and the mic didn't process the sound well. So the best case scenario is you go like, okay, I'm going to get louder in this spot. So I'm going to set my settings. I'm only going to go to that point, record that. When I get to that spot, I'm going to like find my volume and, my louder yelling volume, set the settings, record just that spot. So you kind of adjust for the character. But if it's like an audiobook kind of situation, I try to just get like vocal effects and qualities and playful things that I do that give the impression of it without actually changing the volume, which is just practicing that kind of thing. Yeah, but that's a great question. So you can change it with the tech and you can change it yourself with your body. But what I would say for right now, since we are working on characters, and usually for characters, you would go into a studio and you'd have a director. Or if you weren't in a studio with the director, they might be, let's say, doing like a video call with you and directing you. And then you might have like the software in the studio where like their audio engineer in another place can like log into your computer and like change all the settings themselves. So with characters, you usually are not doing all the tech stuff yourself. Usually someone else is. So I want you right now to just act as the character. But maybe with some narration, with some dialogue, we'll try the other there. Okay?
Yep.
All right, great. So let's go ahead and try this. And if you want to yell, you go ahead and yell.
I was just
Do it.
thinking about it. How does
Yeah.
that work? Okay.
Stand up to that god of war.
All right. You're wrong about them. They're everything you say, but so much more. It's not about deserve. It's about what you believe. And I believe in love. I used to want to save the world, to end the world and bring peace to mankind. But then I glimpsed the darkness that lives within their light. And I learned that inside every one of them, there will always be both. A choice must be made by each man, each woman, and that is the world I choose to fight for. The world of men may be flawed, but they are worth saving. This is my mission now, forever.
Nice. Okay, good. So, what do you think the God of War just said to you that caused you to respond this way? And how did you feel about what he said?
I think that the God of War said, let's eradicate them. They're worthless.
Let's kill them all. Yeah.
Kill them all.
And when he says that, how do you feel?
Like scared and that I've got to convince him
Ah, okay. Yeah,
to
because I
see
feel like you could feel a lot of things. You could be mad, you could be scared, you could be sad because you know he is kind of true, and that's why Steve is dead. You know, you could laugh at him and be like, you're ridiculous. You don't know what you're talking about. Like, I feel like you could respond a lot of different ways. So, yeah, so scared that you're like, oh my gosh, like I've gotten to know these people. There's so much good in the world, you know, and that you want to protect them, but you're terrified because, I mean, you don't know if you can beat him. Like, I feel like, yeah, that would be a scary situation. So, what is your main goal then?
My main goal was to just have him think about them as having some redeeming qualities so that he doesn't just um,
Massacre. Yeah.
exactly, yeah, just, yeah. I think if there's trying to give some hope to the situation because without it, they're doomed.
Okay. Yeah. So you have to convince him to do something different, right? Um, so how do you do that? What do you do to convince him? Um, so think about like tactics. Um, so, you know, do you plead with him? Do you beg him? Do you scold him? Do you tease him? Do you command him? What do you do to get what you want?
Um,
I feel like at first, you know, you tell him he's wrong. So I feel like there
I'm
you're
just
like
scolding. Yeah.
standing
Getting
up to him, like, you know, like putting your foot down, being like, no, you're not going to do that. So you're like defying him or you're putting him in his place or correcting him. So what would you say you're doing there?
yeah, I definitely think this is scolding
Okay,
for
scolding.
for looking at it wrong
All right, we're scolding. Love
or
it.
in an incomplete way. Yeah.
Okay. And then where do you think that changes? Where do you think she stops scolding and something changes in her approach?
When she starts to talk about how she feels and she says, I believe in love and that
Yeah.
she wants to save the world. And,
Yeah.
well, yeah, to end the
And it
war.
becomes more about her. So, what do you think she's doing there? I mean, I feel like that's a more vulnerable moment for her. And it's
In
like
perspective.
revealing. Yeah, exactly. Um, so what do you feel like she's doing there?
She's trying to give him insight into her why she changed her mind about their worth.
Yeah. So is she like laying herself bare? Is she entrusting him with the truth? Is she um like seeking compassion? What would you say like because
Like I
like you
said, I
said,
think
it is more
more
introspective.
she's being introspective, but she's also communicating that to him so that he can
Yeah.
see that she's
So she's like maybe reflecting and sharing.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And then where do you think that then changes? What would be the spot that something shifts again?
Um, when she says at the end of the second half of, and I learned that inside every one of them there will always be both, and then she starts to talk about the choice that has to be made. I think
Yeah.
now she's educating,
Okay. All right. Yeah,
and
that she's like, your understanding is way off base. You're wrong.
yeah,
And this is how it really is. So, like, educating him,
and
correcting
threatening
him.
him like I'm gonna be in the way.
Yeah.
What it is.
Well, when she says, this is my mission now forever, I mean, obviously, there, she's like, I'm going to protect them, you know? Hello. Oh, so sweet. Hey, congrats on your good grades and your award. Pretty exciting. That hard work paid off. Aw. Yeah,
Want
so
to see an 8-year-old in his underwear.
aw. He's sweet. When you watch like really old movies, like back in Shirley Temple days, like it was normal to see like little babies in like a diaper and nothing else, like little toddlers and stuff. And nowadays people are so like covered up. And I'm like, they're a baby.
Not my kid. My
They're
kid
fine.
doesn't put on clothes unless he's leaving. So sorry.
Oh, it's okay. My little brother used to run around in his underwear. He had like Superman and Batman underwear, and he'd be like, I'm a superhero. And he'd just like wrap a towel around his shoulders and tie it and like run around in his underwear. So he just never wanted to wear real clothes. And we were just like, okay.
I mean, you'll get clothes later.
Yeah. I mean, now he wears clothes. It's fine. So yeah, I was thinking. Obviously by the end there, like you were saying, she's kind of threatening him. She's like, you're gonna have to go through me to get them, you know? And she's like standing in the gap there and saying, like, bring it. You want to go there? I'm fighting for them. I'm not joining you. And I think it's definitely at least by this is my mission now forever. So where would you say is like the moment that she's like, I'm doing this, I'm protecting him?
When she says, and that's the world I choose to fight for.
Yes. Yes. I mean, she says it right there. She's like, I'm going to fight for him. So she's protecting them and she's standing up to him. Nice. Awesome. All right. So I want to see those shifts happen at those points. I need to see her make that decision and she changes what she's doing. Yeah. So I got to see those like sharp shifts that it's like she thinks it, she does the new thing. She thinks it, she does the new thing. So as you take a breath before that moment that it changes, I need to see in your eyes and in your face that you're shifting into that new moment. All right, let's try it.
You're wrong about them. They're everything you say, but so much more. It's not about deserve. It's about what you believe. And I believe in love. I used to want to save the world, to end war and bring peace to mankind. But then I glimpsed the darkness that lives within their light. And I learned that inside every one of them, there will always be both. A choice must be made by each man and each woman. And that is the world I choose to fight for. The world of men may be flawed, but they are worth saving. This is my mission now, forever.
Nice. So good. I like teared up in there. So good. Oh, beautiful. I love it. Oh, wonderful. I was with you the whole time. It was gripping. All right, what did you like best about it?
I think it was better than the first time. I
For
think I would
sure.
this a million times to make this I don't know. I feel yeah, this was a hard one. It's
Yeah.
a good one.
Yeah, it is. It's a really powerful monologue. I
Yeah.
like that you can do so much within such a short script too. So a couple of things I noticed you doing that I thought were really, really good. Um, I loved the pauses and the not rushing, giving yourself time because I was not like, oh, I'm bored. I was like, what's gonna happen next? I wasn't like reading along with you. I was literally just like glued to you the whole time. Um, Loved the pauses, loved the not rushing, the taking your time. Um, I also thought your character, you were very like you you were confident in what you said and you never apologized for anything you said. I did see like vulnerability and like sadness in your character and like, things like that, but there was never weakness in her. There was strength even in that sadness or vulnerability or those other things going on. Um, yeah, that was really nice. Props to you. Excellent. Excellent. I found another that I thought might be a good one. This one reminds me, mm, I don't know, of like I want to say, I don't know, like a DC kind of thing, like House of Cards or something, like with attorneys and politicians and like, you know what I mean? Like or maybe like a PR firm kind of thing, Um, so yeah.
Oh, is
What do
this
you
part of
think?
the scandal?
Yeah, it does kind of remind me of Scandal. You're right. I mean, it does say like bury your scandals by lunch.
Like somebody who works for like a PR firm, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Um, or like Flack is like a newer TV show about like a PR firm. Um, Flack. Yeah. I don't really understand the word, but yeah, I feel like you could be like an attorney, you could be a PR person, you could be maybe like a judge, you could be, you know, someone who knows how to fix things for people. Somehow.
Okay.
So let's just give it a try.
Okay. Don't lecture me about ethics while your hands are just as bloody as mine. The difference? I don't pretend mine are clean. I know who I am. I make the impossible happen before breakfast and bury your scandals by lunch. You think that makes me cold? Ruthless? No, it makes me necessary. You brought me in because you wanted a gladiator, not a priest. So don't flinch when I put on the armor. You wanted this fixed, and I fixed it. And now you're going to walk out of here. You're going to smile for the cameras, and you're going to win because I said you would. And when they write the story, I'll be the footnote. Again, that's fine. I'm not here to be remembered. I'm here to make sure you are.
Nice. Ooh, I was like, man, you're scary. I don't want to stand up to you. Woo! That was nice. Yes.
They're not my words.
Yes. Yes, Queen. I was just like, ooh, don't mess with her. Okay then. Nice. Yes. That was so good. Reminds me of this one character from this it was like a political thriller, basically, was what it was that I was part of. But there's a character that just reminded me of. That's so cool. That was so good. Um, nice. So what did you like about that first run through?
I don't know. I was kind of in the mood from the one above,
Okay.
and then
You
I
left
don't
off with the like standing up for the little people, and you were like, we're starting there.
know. Exactly. I was already fired up. Um, yeah, I don't know. I liked it. I thought it was a like that would be a really cool character. That
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, man, whew, you're on fire. It was great. Loved it. Then I did find another that I thought looked pretty good. So I was thinking maybe we could work on that one next time. So I did copy and save all three of these in my notes to work with you on more in the future. So since you said you felt like if you worked on that Wonder Woman monologue a bit more, you feel like you could really like dig in deeper with it. I'd love to have you maybe practice that one this week. And then, we can come back next time and see where it's at and like, how it's changed and what you've found in there, just because there's a lot to dig into there. Um, and then I've got these other two as well that I feel like could also be good ones to explore for those like strong female lead type characters. But I think it would be really cool to maybe focus mainly on that Wonder Woman one this week and practice that one on your own. Yeah?
Yep, I can do that.
Cool. Awesome. I'm so excited. Woo! You're great at these.
You're being very kind.
You are a strong female lead type, right? We have our types. That's your type.
I'm trying.
Yeah. That's I was just like, yes. I was like, I'm on your team. I'm not standing up to you. Whatever you say. You got it. Awesome. Yeah, very nice. Great work today, Shamara. All right, so we'll pick up there with those strong female lead characters next time, and we'll dig in a little bit deeper to that Wonder Woman script, okay?
Good.
Very cool. This was so fun.
Thank you.
So keep up the good work, and we'll dive back in next time.
Sounds
I'll see you
good.
then. Bye-bye.